Hello everyone, this is Immortalized 007, or Snipe God on YouTube, and I'm here today with another Elder Scrolls Online guide, this time for the Veteran Maelstrom Arena. So, to start off, my class that I'm going to be completing this with is Sorcerer, and my race that I have, Khajit, and my faction is Eldermai, although faction doesn't matter. So if we look at my stats, I have 16,000 health, 31,571 maximum stamina, 3,841 weapon damage, 65.6% weapon critical, 11,000 to both physical and spell resistance. This goes up to about 17,000 with Hurricane active. And then I have 2,866 penetration and 1,772 attack power. And my active buffs right now are my food, membership, Miner Slayer, Werewolf, which is going to be optional, and then you're going to have the Warrior Mundus. So to start off with, let's go over gear. Let me repair my gear first. Alright. So to start off with, for my helmet and shoulders, I'm using 2 pieces of Veladreths, both in Divines. This is going to add 129 weapon damage, and give us a 20% chance of disease spores that deal 14,000 damage to enemies hit every 9 seconds. This is one of our main DPS adders, and just kind of allows us an extra hit or two on the ads that we need to prioritize the most. Next off, the next set I'm using is Jack of the Vicious Ophidian and Bracers of the Vicious Ophidian, both in Divines, as well as a ring, 2 rings, and a necklace. So you can use either blue or gold. I have access to gold from clearing veteran trials. But if you can't afford to do that, go into Craglorn trials will drop these, so go into Craglorn, pug some normal trials, and just grab yourself some basic blue jewelry and blue pieces here that you can upgrade. This is going to help immensely with our sustain, as the final piece will reduce our stamina cost of abilities by 8%, as well as give us 2,150 stamina back, and 30% increased movement speed whenever we kill an enemy. This also adds 129 weapon damage, and a ton of critical to our character. Our next set is the Guards, Boots, and Belt of the Night Mother's Gaze, once again, all Divines. This adds more weapon critical, weapon damage, and provides us with the physical resistance debuff. Now, the physical resistance debuff, since we are a sorcerer, we don't have access to major fracture, so this is going to provide us with a way to get to the enemy's physical resistances. Next off, we have a Dagger of the Night Mother's Gaze in our primary hand, with a Nirnhound enchantment to increase the weapon damage, and a poison enchantment on it. So if you look at the difference between the second dagger, which is infused with weapon damage, we get 200 extra weapon damage from the Nirnhound. Our offhand, as you can see here, is infused with weapon damage. The reason we want infused is it's going to buff the weapon damage from 320 to 542. And both of these will proc whenever we light or heavy attack. Next off for our back bar, I have the Maelstром's bow equipped right now. So, Nirnhound is the ideal trait for bow. If you can't get one of these bows, simply just replace it with the bow of the Night Mothers and Nirnhone. It's not going to be a huge difference between either. The Maelstrom bow will help you go faster, but they'll both work well. Next off for foods, I'm just using sticky pork and radish noodles, giving us 5,395 hit points, and increasing our stamina by 4,936. Next off, potions, essence of weapon power. Get these, they're your friends, trust me. Alright, next let's go on to abilities and passives. So for my front handbar, my dual wield, I'm using Shrouded Daggers, which is 5th ability here in dual wield. This deals immense physical damage and will slow our enemies, allowing us to back off on tougher enemies that require range to take down. Next, we have Rending Slashes, which is also going to reduce the movement speed by another 50%. This is a really good damage over time effect, and I'll use it on bosses to quickly drain health, as well as keep them from moving out of my AoEs and dots. Next off, we have Rearming Trap. So this ability is going to give us Minor Force, which is going to give us a 10% boost to our critical damage. And if you remember, we have our 65% critical chance. So this is going to make all the damage we deal in critical hit for 10% more. Next off, Blade Cloak. Create a ring of floating razors around you with 3,092 physical damage to all nearby enemies every 3 seconds for 15 seconds. Now, the damage on this ability is a little bit lower, but what we want from this is the survivability. The razor also shields you from shrapnel, reducing the damage you take from area of effect attacks by 25%. So that's going to come into use on rounds such as the 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 7th rounds. This is essentially important to keep up at all times. Next off, we have Vigor, our burst heal. And then next off, we have our Flawless Dawnbreaker, which is going to give us 5% additional weapon damage while slotted, as well as a major hit. So, to find Rearming Trap and Flawless Dawnbreaker, you can find these under the Fighter's Guild. The passives you're going to want are Intimidating Presence, Slayer, and Banish the Wicked, as well as Skilled Tracker. Bounty Hunter isn't necessary for what we are doing here. Next off, for Dual Wield, we're going to want all the passives under Dual Wielding. There'll be a lot of stunning here when we bash into enemies, so this is going to give Ruffian usage in here. Also, if I didn't mention before, all 7 pieces of our armor are medium. So we're going to want to go under armor. We're going to want all the passives in medium armor except for improved sneak. You can have this if you want to, but it's not going to provide us with an essential bonus. You can take it if you have the skill points, otherwise avoid it. As well as shuffle, you don't need this if you can't afford it. Next off is our back bar. So for here, we have bow, we have our poison injection, which is going to act as an execute, as well as our main damage over time ability for bosses. We have our Endless Hail, which is just going to hit for a ton of damage. Next we have our Hurricane, which can be found under class in Storm Calling. This will give us 10% movement speed buff, as well as 5,280 armor, and a 943 damage every second that grows, 150% to 150% more damage and 9 more meters. Next off, Caltrops. Big explosive ball, tons of damage over time, as well as another slow to help stay away from enemies. Next after this we have Critical Surge to provide us with a 20% weapon damage, and a 3,000 heal whenever we critically attack. 68% crit, so this ability procs often. And our ultimate for this back bar is going to be Ballista. Summon a turret dealing 5,400 5,400, 721 physical damage over 5.2 seconds. This thing hits like a truck. So for this, we're going to want, for passives, we're going to want the Ranger, Accuracy, Long Shot, Hawkeye, bonuses, Under, Bow, and these 3 abilities. If you can't afford it, take the Hasty Retreat. This will give you Major Expedition on your dodge roll, which you can use if your Vicious Fidian isn't top. Next off, for class abilities, for class passives, you're gonna want Unholy Knowledge within Dark Magic. Within Daedric Summoning, you're gonna want Power Stone. Bound Armaments is also a great skill for Stamsorc DPS. I may use this in certain builds in the future, so I recommend getting this, as well as the Daedric Protection, which is going to give us 20% more health and stam recovery when we slot that. Under our Storm Calling, we have Hurricane, Critical Surge. You don't need Streak here. I have this as PvP morph. And we're going to want the Energized, Implosion, and Expert Mage passives to help boost our weapon damage. Although this is going to have no effect on our front bar, it's going to give us 4% more weapon damage on our back bar. Any additional passives you may want under Undaunted, the possibilities Undaunted Command and Undaunted Metal will help with your survivability, as well as all the racial passives. You can find Caltrops and Vigor under the Assault section within the Alliance War. You'll need to get to a minimum of PvP rank 7, rank 6 to get this. Under Crafting, you're going to want to level your Alchemy to 50 and get your Medicinal use all the way up if you can. I haven't spent that much time working on it, so I only have it up at 2 right now. So this is going to be the build that I'm using to clear VMA with that you will see in my rounds here. Thank you all for watching my build video and continue watching next in my round 1 clear.